Okay, so we're going to start chapter 3 with parallel lines and transversals. So the only new vocabulary we have for this section is a transversal, which is a line that intersects two or more lines at different points. So it just crosses over two lines. You might have heard the word to transverse, like you can transverse America, which means you travel across America. So transversal just means to go across two lines. We really have a couple different options for what lines can do. Two lines can be parallel. So those are coplanar lines that don't intersect. We use these arrows to mark them, kind of like we do our hash marks with congruent. Sometimes you'll also see just like an arrow, but without the triangle part. And of course, one arrow means they're parallel, two means those are. So you might see something like this, and etc., just like we do with the hash marks. This is the symbol for parallel to show that two lines are parallel. And remember, parallel lines from your algebra days are lines that run alongside each other forever and never touch. They also have the same slope. Skew lines is a new word, and these are lines that do not intersect and are not coplanar. So remember, we have a couple different types of intersections. They can just intersect at any angle, and we specifically have perpendicular lines. But skew lines don't intersect. Well, coplanar lines don't intersect. Parallel lines don't. But the difference is these are coplanar and these are non-coplanar. So parallel lines are in the same plane. Skew lines don't intersect, but that's because they're in two totally different planes. And then parallel planes are planes that run alongside each other. So that'll be really easier to see in a picture. Let's look at one. It says name all segments parallel to BC. Again, you know I'm a huge fan of colors, and I think that really helps here. So here's BC. Parallel is going to be running along the same direction. So we have DA, EH, and FG. And you can see that obviously like these are on the front plane and the side plane, but we could draw a plane right here to connect those. So those are still planar. Parallel lines do have to be in the same plane. So they're going to be running along in the same direction. Now these are segments, so make sure you name them appropriately with the correct symbols. The next thing we're going to do is name a line skewed to EH. So what I'm going to do is highlight EH, and I want something skewed. Well, skew is not parallel and doesn't intersect. So I'm going to find all my parallel. Okay, it's none of those. I'm going to mark everything intersecting. So it's none of those. So now it's what's left, which is DC, FG, FC, GB, or AB. So see how EH is going up and down? Well, none of these are going up and down, or else they'd be parallel. But they're also not intersecting EH, so they shouldn't have the letter E or H in them. So the green ones are skew, the pink ones are what's intersecting it, and the blue ones are what's parallel. So now we're going to name a plane parallel to ABG. Now, be careful. Remember, planes are named with 3 letters. Even though I have like a rectangle here, I don't name it 4. So ABG, it's not just this triangle. It's talking about this whole plane. And I think a lot of times the easiest way to think of this is like a box. And so imagine it either being the top, bottom, left, right, front, back. So this is the bottom part. And if I want the bottom part of a box, what would be parallel to that running along the same is the top. So I'm going to name that plane, and then you're going to pick 3 of those letters. So DEFC, pick 3 of those. I'll pause the video and do the chapter progress, and then start back with your work. Okay, so name a plane that's parallel to RST. Well, RST is the top plane here. So we want the bottom plane, which is XYZW. So WXY, when I pick 2 letters. So that's E. And then we want a segment that intersects YZ. Here's a good hint when it's a box. If it intersects YZ, it's either going to have the letter Z or Y in it. So our option here is XY. Now there's tons of other options, just not in the multiple choice. Okay, so when we have a transversal other lines, we have several different types of angles. And so this is a good big picture. And this is the most important vocab for this chapter. We'll be using this stuff a lot. So we have interior and exterior, and you can see obviously the interior is in between the two lines, and the exterior is on the outside. Notice it has nothing to do with the transversal. It's just inside or outside the two lines. Okay, and so next we have consecutive interior angles. You will hear these sometimes called interior, either from me or from the book. Those are the same thing. Consecutive means next to, and so either way, you're looking at this thing here. It's going to be two angles that are interior, and they are on the same side. Now, notice this is the same side, or they're consecutive on the transversal. So that is going to be like 4 and 5, 3 and 6. So not together, like 4 and 5 is one pair, 5 and 6 is one pair. It has to be on the same side of the transversal. 4 and 5 are both on the left. 3 and 6 are both on the left. So don't get confused. Like those are on the same side of a line, it's not the right line. Okay? So the consecutive angles, they're not adjacent. They're not right beside each other. They're just next to each other along these transversals. The next thing we have is alternating interior. The good thing about this vocab is the words pretty much tell you what you have. So it's alternating and it's interior. So interior, inside in the green, it's going to be alternating on the sides of the transversal. So 4 and 6, 3 and 5. Next we have alternating exterior. So same thing, it tells us what it is. It's on the outside and it's alternating. So 1 and 7, and then 2 and 8. And then lastly, we have corresponding angle. And if something's corresponding, it can mean it's communicating, but it also means it's like in the same location. So that's what this means here. It's in the same location. So the two angles are on the same location of the, they're not the same, they're just in the same spot according to the transversal. So like angle 1 is on the top left, angle 5 is on the top left. Those are corresponding. 2 is on the top right, 6 is on the top right. Those are corresponding. 4 is on the bottom left, 8 is on the bottom left, 3 is on the bottom right, 7 is on the bottom right. So those are the different types of angles that you need to know. So like I said, it's really important that you know those types of angles. We're going to be doing a lot with them. So now we're going to classify them. 2 and 6. Well, are those both interior? Nope. So that it rules out that. Are they both exterior? Nope. Okay, they're corresponding. Because one's on the bottom right and the other's on the bottom right. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about according to the side. So they are corresponding. Then we have 1 and 7. Oh, look, those are both on the outside. One's on top, one's on bottom. So they're alternating, and they're on the outside. They're alternating exterior. And it's totally okay to abbreviate. I have 3 and 8. Oh, look, they're both on the inside. They're not alternating, so they're on the same side. So it's consecutive interior. 3 and 5, both on the interior, but they are alternating. One's on top, one's on bottom. So that is alternating. I want you to pause the video, do the check your progress, and then come back and check your work. Now this can get a little bit confusing because there's more than 2 lines, but we have 4 and 5. To begin with, well, those are both on the interior of these 2 lines. So they're interior, they're both on top, so they're corresponding. They're interior and they're both on top, so they're consecutive interior. Then we have 7 and 9. Bottom left, they're corresponding. We have 4 and 7. Well, here's the interior for those 2 lines. They're both on the outside, so they're alternating exterior. And then we have 2 and 11, and for those 2 lines, the interior is both of those colors. So they're both on the interior, one on top, one on bottom, so they're alternating interior. The problems at a bus station were shown. Identify the transversal connecting angle 1 and 2, then classify the relationship. Okay, I really think it helps to extend these parallel lines. So I'm extending all the lines connecting 1 and 2, and now it looks more like the picture we're used to seeing. So 1 and 2 is running this way, the transversal would be. And so I have this one on the top left and this one on the top left. So they are corresponding. For our next one, it's 2 and 3. So I'm going to extend all the lines. Okay, they're the same. So again, the transversal is line B. But we're looking at a different pair. We're looking at 2 and 3. Well, this is top, this is bottom, but they're both interiors, so they're alternating. Interior. If it helps to mark your interior, exterior, do that. I want you to pause and work these and then check back. Sorry, this is a little bit tricky. What I'm going to do is see, okay, what does A cross? Well, it obviously crosses C and E. So it does transverse those, but actually, remember, you have 2 options with lines. They either run alongside each other and never touch. So these 2 right here are parallel, A and B. If I extend D and A, they're going to intersect. They're going to transverse, or A is going to transverse it. Same with those. And so even though you don't see it in the picture, remember, lines extend forever. So really, A goes over C, F, A, and E. And then on the second one, let's clear it and start fresh. We want to know what B transverses. Well, it's the same idea. It definitely hits C. F, all you have to do is barely extend it, right? And it hits all of those as well. But it's not going to hit A because it's running alongside it forever and ever. So there's your parallel lines and transversals. In the next one, we're going to dig a little bit more into corresponding and alternating interior, alternating exterior, and consecutive or same side interiors. So make sure you're really learning what those mean and how to identify those.